We're all thinking of you.
This means so much to me. Thank you.
The door was already closing when the truth hit her. This was the wrong room, and the man inside was dying. The nurse froze with her hand still on the metal handle, her heart pounding as if it wanted to flee before she could. The room smelled of clean sheets and fading life. Machines breathed for the man in the bed, slow and patient, like they were waiting him out. His eyes were open, sharp, lonely, watching her as if she was the first real thing he had seen in days. She should have left. Everyone would have, but she didn't. Her name was Clara Hayes. And in that moment, her life quietly changed forever. Clara was not important to the hospital. She wore plain shoes, her hair pulled back tight, her shoulders always tense like she was bracing for bad news. She worked long shifts, took extra hours, and never complained. Her hands were gentle, but her eyes carried weight, the kind that came from too many goodbyes and not enough thank-yous. The man in the bed had no flowers, no cards, no visitors. Just a chart clipped to the wall and a name written in clean ink. Elias Crown. Clara recognized the name, not because she followed money or power, but because everyone knew it. The city's tallest buildings wore his mark. His name sat on wings of hospitals, schools, and parks. He was spoken of in news articles and quiet boardrooms. A billionaire, a legend, a man who owned half the skyline, and yet here he was, alone. The staff spoke of him in low tones, not with hate, with distance. They said he was difficult, private, cold. They said he had no family left who cared. They said he didn't want visitors anyway. Clara would learn later how wrong they were. She stepped into the room, unsure why. The door closed behind her with a soft, final sound. Elias Crown watched her like a man stranded at sea watching a single light on shore. His voice was weak when he spoke, but steady. He asked if she was there for him. Clara nodded because, in that moment, she was. She adjusted his blanket, checked the machine, did her job. But something in her stayed. She noticed his hands, strong even now, scarred in small ways that told stories of years spent building, lifting, shaping a world few ever saw up close. She noticed how his eyes softened when she spoke, like her voice was water in a dry place. When she left, he thanked her, not politely, not casually, deeply. That night, Clara couldn't sleep. Her backstory lived quietly inside her like an old ache. She grew up in a town where nothing stayed long. Not jobs, not people. Her father worked himself into the ground and still smiled every night. Her mother passed when Clara was young, leaving behind the smell of soap and the sound of humming songs. Clara learned early that love did not always last, and that showing up mattered more than promises. She married young, loved hard, lost faster. Her husband died in an accident that left no answers, only empty chairs and unopened messages. Clara threw herself into work because caring for others was the only place her grief could breathe. The hospital became her second skin. The hum of machines, the soft footsteps at night, the quiet courage of people facing the end. She learned to be calm in storms, to be kind without expectation. Elias's crown became her storm. She started visiting his room more often than assigned. At first, it was just checks, then conversations. He spoke of buildings like they were children, of mistakes made in rooms full of men who spoke too loudly and listened too little. He spoke of love once, briefly, like touching a bruise to see if it still hurt. No one else came. Weeks passed. His condition worsened. The hospital administration took notice. They warned Clara to keep things professional. They reminded her of boundaries. They reminded her of rules. Rules did not sit well with a man who had spent his life breaking them to build something new. And yet, Elias never asked for more than her presence. The injustice came quietly. A shift supervisor questioned her time logs. A doctor hinted that she was getting attached. A coworker whispered that she was chasing money, as if kindness could only be bought. Clara said nothing. Her silence was not weakness. It was armor. She continued to show up, to listen, to hold his hand when the pain peaked, to read him letters he never received just to fill the silence. Elias began to smile again. A real smile. The kind that lifts years off a man's face. One night, as rain traced slow lines down the window, Elias asked her why she stayed. Clara told him the truth. Because no one should die unseen, that line stayed with him. The hospital grew colder. The air around them tight. Paperwork appeared. Warnings followed. A threat of reassignment hung over her head, like a blade. Then came the question no one expected. Elias asked her to marry him, not out of fear, not out of desperation, but with calm certainty. He explained that he had months, maybe less. He did not want to leave this world without having chosen love one last time. He did not want his life to end as it had lived for years. Alone, Clara said no at first. She cried. She wrestled with the weight of it. The judgment. The whispers. The rules. But love, real love, does not ask permission. 5 months later, they were married in a quiet room with soft light and no crowd. No press. No spectacle. Just two souls choosing each other while time watched closely. Elias changed in those months. Not his body, but his spirit. He laughed more, slept better, lived fully inside the moments they had. Clara learned that wealth had never been his true power. Presence was. The power shift came after his passing. The hospital gathered. The staff stood stiff, unsure. Clara stood alone at the front, dressed simply, her face calm. She expected silence. She expected to leave quietly. Instead, letters were read. Donations revealed. Names called. Elias Crown had left everything not to corporations, but to people. Nurses, janitors, patients, a foundation for those who died alone. A wing named not after himself, but after Clara. The room changed. Those who doubted lowered their eyes. Those who judged felt the weight of their words. Respect filled the space where gossip once lived. One line from his letter cut through the room. Like light, love is not found in crowds. It is found in those who stay when they gain nothing. Another followed. Silence is not absence. It is strength waiting to be seen. The final line left no heart untouched. I was rich in money once. I was rich in love at the end. Only one of those saved me. Clara walked out of the hospital that day with her head high. Not because she had married a billionaire, but because she had honored a man when the world forgot him. Outside, the city moved on. Inside, something had shifted. This story is a reminder to see the unseen, to honor the quiet, to remember that the strongest love stories often begin by accident. If this story moved you, share where you're watching from. Tell us what silent strength means to you. And subscribe for more stories that honor the heroes who never asked to be seen.